this is Change Catalyst is going to Change Catalyst. And we're going to talk about the Biafra War, our history. Now, just a brief detail. I can tell you for a fact that nobody in Nigeria has put what I'm about to say now about the Biafra War, about Nigeria as a nation. Because it has taken years of research to understand more about the war than any other person. I've read over 50 to 80 articles and novels, books, done personal research, watched videos, talked to those who were there in the war, those who fought the war, our hero past, listening to the leaders that involved in the war, from Gowan to Ojukwu to Theophilus Danjuma and the rest. Overseeing those role and everybody, I think I have a better say about this war than any other person in Nigeria. But not too proud. Let me give you a shocking fact about as well. So the war that started in the 1973 was actually a misunderstanding level resource to battle for. But therefore, we have resources, minerals to battle for, when we don't have a structural organization. And then our independence, we had the Prime Minister and the President. Such combination was already showing that there is stake to power and a fraction within our own states, even before our conception. And after our independence, we managed to pull through, having successful people govern until the military felt we are not doing well and decided to come in. Mind you, this military are just young boys of 20, 30, at most 34, 35, 30. That's what you get from them. And they were ranking officers of lieutenants, colonels, and at such age, that was a problem, although fact not verified yet. But the concept of the Biafra War happened all the way. Now, why did it happen in detail? You see, many people would say the Igbos try to break out from Nigeria. Many people would say, the Igbos would say, the Southeasterners would say, the North try to dominate or suppress us. But the truth is, there was still this divide between the masses and the elite. Where the elite, the military elite, decided to take power from the civilian elite. And some Eastern Nigerians got some information very fast, like we all know. People like Nanda Kiwe got the information and spread it to the likes of his friends, who are then Easterners as well. And they escaped the coup. Should we call it coup? Yeah, we should call it coup. They escaped the coup that led to the death of both Mohammed and Oda. That led to the death of prominent northern leaders like Obafemi Awolowo, did not lead to the death of Nanda Kiwe, which provoked the Northerners. And the rumor, as usual, the Northerners always believe in the grassroots rumor, believing that they are being dominated and their resources being taken. They always believe there is an understory to what is happening. And they started killing the Easterners in the north. The killing was much. The record having that you have pits well filled with corpses of Easterners and other parts of Nigeria. This made it impossible for the Easterners to remain. And then Lieutenant Colonel Ojukwu again declared the return of Igbos, and there was an asylum allowing the Igbos to return or the Easterners to return to in a way to seek a solution to the massive killing in the north. During this time, I think Ojukwu must have gotten the wrong intel about the strength of Nigeria and his own capacity as a rich child and a young man felt he can make a difference. He can liberate his people from such adversity happening again. And as such, he wanted a state where his people can be protected and be free from liberty. That was a wrong notion for somebody who accepted the context of independence and was trained in the country's military. That was just my first fault for him. But General Gowan, on the other hand, was not being a nice man, knowing that he was a genius ranking officer to the southwest, that was the Yorubans, military officers that were then. Even the Ojukwu himself, being a southeastern, was the top ranking officer to him. But because he was present in the barrack at Benue, where General Gowan was so murdered, although he claimed he had no information like that, which I doubt, checking how military system goes. There's no how you be the most top ranking officer and the commandant-in-chief will be murdered in a barrack where you slept over and you did not know about it. But that's just a question we shouldn't debate because we can't now question the loyalty of our other statesmen for that proceeding. This led to him being declared as the only person because powers now people became power scared. There was phobia for the office since leaders had been murdered. And the Yorubas, in their usual way, will always have the streets address Yorubas as fearful people. They relinquish this power. And Ojukwu, being an Easterner, which is presumed those people dominating and the killing instigated to be in their direction, couldn't just come grab this power. It lead to further bloodshed. And that made the power to fall to General Gowan. Now General Gowan, going to the ranks of the Chief of Army Staff and the then Head of State, felt Ojukwu cannot declare a state of the nation by himself, knowing that resources are coming from the east. But he was saying it with no state of fidelity. He was saying this with deep love for one nation. General Bowen was not saying this because he hated the Easterners. He was saying it because he cannot govern a nation that is separated from its main source of resources, which is in the south, which will have fallen into the hands of Biafra. So he declared his war. But before declaring his war, I think they had this, okay, let's address this issue in a systematic way ideology. This ideology led to the Bureau record in that, which did not stand as well. Because while General Gowan went to that meeting, hoping that he was going to talk to a friend and a fellow colleague in Nigeria, Ojukwu went to that meeting being clear with his lawyer and detailed businessmen and proper associates, expecting that he would negotiate a deal that favors the Easterners who are believed to be wise business persons and always topping their game without trying to make any form of mistakes. This made the agreement at the Bureau Accord not to stand because it did not favor the Gowan side, who went there with the intentions of friendlies. On the other hand, being the head of state and a military young man at 42, he felt he wouldn't take that. He has been betrayed, though he signed an agreement. So the world record knows that he has broken this record, making him first known factual fault for the declaration of the Biafra War, which then commenced, leading to the death of massive Nigerians. Yes, the war was a dirty war. We'll get time to talk about the impacts of the war. Okay, but what is the aftermath of the war ended in 1970, and everywhere it was okay. They asked the Igbos to return. The Easterners returned to one Nigeria, but they wouldn't return. Why? Because they were still scared of their life. But that was happening. There were partialities or acts that still kept Nigerian to today's fall because of the dismantlement of the Igbos from the Nigerian political structures. First of all, this dismantlement starts with an idea, or should I call it a scheme to make them poorer, since they are known for wealth, and their wealth is because of their arrogance, which was first presumed to have led to the war. So they did the nationalization where Gowan has instructed that all foreign companies relinquish a major percentage of their ownership of those companies to Nigerians, who will now buy it at cheap rates. But why they are ready to buy it, the one state Nigerians are giving the Igbos just a fraction of money for survival, where their wealth that was left in the north were being seized by Northerners, and government has no control. But this is just a period after war. Government cannot just really have dominance to control the state. So we had those that have money, that are Easterners, scared of coming to buy off these foreign companies, and those that are not scared because they are already still surviving in the north, have no money, they were just left with pennies to survive. These have made Nigeria a step back. Lots of graduates from the east and other parts of Nigeria dying in the war brought the foreign bodies to come and dictate a better structure to avoid the war, which led to lots of schemes such as NYSC, our political structure of rationing and slotting of power even in the academic sector, which up to today have really killed the fabrics of our growth. So in that same case, we are meant to believe that NERA is an acronym meaning never allow Igbo rule again, as if the Igbo man was the ruler, not the leader. This have led to many attempts by Igbos to become president to fail. Now, where are we? I will leave us at a fractional question, or should I call it a mind-biting question. The talking in the comment section. Ask any more detailed question. I was trying to summarize. I will come for that question and I will be more detailed to what happened in every of the segment. This summary is not really a true story. Every detail is known. But let me give you this question. If the Biafra War has really ended, no victor, no vanquish, like declared by General Gowan, why is Igbo not producing president in a country where everybody is one? The mantle of one Nigeria is a must. Why is there no seaport? Why are there still productive measures? I just learned that the Nigerian army now, I think the war has not really ended. I think Nnamdi is not really a problem. The problem is rehabilitation of a displaced warrior. How well have you reabsorbed Igbos into the system, making them find Nigeria as a whole? That is the more direction towards something. Leave your comments at the comment sections. Let me have your arguments. Let's bring back the history, the impact of the war to Nigerian schooling curriculum. Let a child come back from school and tell their dad, yes, Dad, I was meant to write a story about the Nigerian Biafra War, the Nigerian Civil War. What is your stake? What do you think? Let's not pass rumor. Our parents in the north are telling us the Igbo started the war. Our parents in the east are telling us the Hausa started the war. This generation that fought the war are dying off, and even those that might to bring out the story and trying to lie over it when it comes to public truth. Well, I think if there is a need, the need is now. If there is a time, the time is still now. The point is now is the time to heal. I still want Nigerians. I'm sure the people are not ready to go. They just want a home called Nigeria, not a place called Nigeria.